Recall that we recently studied the Sutram 1490 Lakshanetham Bhutakyan Bhagavipsasu Pratiparya Navaha. That Sutram is in the Adhikara of Karma Pravachaniyaha, which runs from 1483 down to 1498. And we already looked at the meaning of 1490. The terms Prati, Pari and Anu get the designation Karma Pravachaniyaha in the context where either Lakshanam meaning mark or aim, or Itham Bhutakyanam meaning description of someone, something being thus, or Bhagaha meaning portion or share, or Vipsa pervasion or entirety is denoted. Let us now take a look at the next Sutra in the Ashtadhyayi order, which is 1491. It reads Abhirabhage. The Vritti says Bhaga Varje Lakshanadavabhi Karma Pravachaniya Sanyasyat, meaning the term Abhi gets the designation Karma Pravachaniya in the context where either Lakshanam meaning mark or aim, or Itham Bhutakyanam meaning description of someone or something being thus, or Vipsa pervasion or entirety is denoted. So basically Abhi gets the designation Karma Pravachaniya when it is used in any of the contexts mentioned in 1490 except that of Bhagaha. That's why the Sutram says Abhi Abhage, and the Vritti says Bhaga Varje Lakshanadav. The note here says 1490 mentions Lakshanetham Bhutakyan Bhaga Vipsasu. After removing Bhaga from the list, what remains is Lakshanetham Bhutakyan Vipsasu. Hence Abhage means Lakshanetham Bhutakyan Vipsasu. And as you mentioned when we studied 1490, these meanings don't have to be denoted by Abhi. Abhi has to be only used in the context where one of these meanings is denoted. The examples are very similar to those that we saw under 1490. Let's take a look at them. In the following examples, Abhi gets the designation Karma Pravachaniya by 1491. Also remember that by 238, Karma Pravachaniya Yukte Dvitiya, a Prajivadikam which is used in connection with the Karma Pravachaniya takes the second case affix. Now in the first example for Lakshane, there is a good verse in the Gita, verse 3, chapter 16. Bhavanti Sampadan Daivim Avijatasya Bharata. The first 2.5 verses of chapter 16 of Gita lists a set of qualities. Sadgunanam Suchi. It's a list of qualities possessed by one who is born with a divine disposition. So the second line of verse 3 says Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. Now, Sampad is qualified by Daivi, and both of them have taken the second case affix. The reason for that is that they're connecting with Abhi, which is used here as a Karma Pravachaniya. The Bhashyakara says Abhilaksha Jatasya. So, Daivim Sampadam Abhilaksha Jatasya. Here Abhi is used in the sense of Lakshane. So, Daivim Sampadam Abhilaksha Jataha means one who is born with a focus on the divine disposition. So now Abhi gets the Karma Pravachaniya Sanya by 1491 because the context here is that of Lakshane, and then in connection with Abhi, Sampad takes the second case affix by 238, Karma Pravachaniya Yukte Dvitiya. And since Daivi is qualifying Sampad, that also takes the second case affix. The next example here in the sense of Itham Bhutakhyane is essentially the same example we saw when we studied 1490. Only difference is that time we are using Prati, Pari or Anu. Here we are using Abhi. So the example is Bhakto Harim Abhi. The Padacheda is Bhaktaha Harim Abhi. Someone is a devotee and the topic of his devotion is Lord Vishnu, Hari. So it tells us what kind of a devotee this person is. That's what is meant by Itham Bhuta, means someone or something is such and such. Itham Bhuta Khyane means describing someone or something to be thus. So here the devotee is being described as the devotee of Lord Vishnu. His devotion is towards Lord Vishnu. So again, Abhi gets the karma pravachaniya sanya by 1491, and in connection with that, Hari takes the second case affix by 238. And the next example is also very similar to what we saw when we studied 1490. The example here is Devam Devam Abhi Sinchati. Someone sprinkles deity after deity. Same comment here which we saw before. Here Vipsa is denoted by the duplication by 814. Nitya Vipsa Yoho, which we have studied, and not by Abhi. The purpose of assigning the designation Karma Pravachaniyaha to Abhi is to prevent 8365 from substituting the Murdhanya letter Sh in place of the dental Sa of Sinchati, because 8365 requires the upasarga to be present with the nimittam, with the cause for shatvam. And remember that the karma pravachaniya sanya is the apavada exception to the upasarga sanya as well as the gati sanya. So once Avi gets the karma pravachaniya sanya, it cannot have the upasarga sanya or the gati sanya. So 8365 cannot apply. And further comment here is that for Deva to take the second case affix, the designation karma pravachaniya for Abhi is not required, because the second case affix is already available by 232 Karmani Dvitiya, because the object of sprinkling is the deity. So this is the kind of peculiar situation where the purpose of assigning the Karma Pravachaniya Sanya is not for Deva to take the second case affix, but it is to stop 8365 from applying. Hence, it is important to remember that the ramification of a karma pravachaniya sanya is not only so that a connecting word can take a particular case affix, but it also implies that the upasarga sanya or gati sanya is not present, and therefore any operations which depend on the upasarga or gati sanya, they cannot take place.